Chapter 6366. Thinking for a moment, Simon said, "I guess my things here will only take these 2 days. So we don't need to go back one after the other. You can wait with me for 2 more days." Steve was helpless, but he couldn't say much, so he said, "Okay, Father, I'll listen to you." As they were talking, Helena, who was dressed in a formal dress and looked dignified and elegant, walked in accompanied by the old queen. Seeing this, the father and son immediately stopped talking and stood up together. Helena came to the two of them with her skirt lifted up and said with a smile, "You two don't have to be so polite, please take a seat." The two of them sat down again. As soon as they sat down, Simon couldn't help but say, "Your Majesty, the cooperation has been basically completed now. I don't know if there is anything else you need to do. Please give me your instructions. After finishing the work, I need to go back to New York first. After dealing with the New York affairs, I will come back to start a new round of investment." Simon's words were very obscure, but Helena could easily hear the subtext in it. He just wanted to ask when she could fulfill her promise, and it would be best to fulfill it as soon as possible, so that he could return to New York as soon as possible. So she smiled and said, "I don't have any other needs. If Mr. Rothschild needs to go back to the United States for something, you can go back tomorrow." Simon was instinctively happy when he heard this, thinking that Helena must be fulfilling her promise. But then he felt uneasy. What if she meant what she said literally and asked him to go back tomorrow? After all, she didn't mention any obscure information about the elixir. Just when Simon was unsure of Helena's approach and didn't dare to agree casually, she said, "By the way, Mr. Simon, after the dinner, please reserve a little more time. Regarding the previous cooperation, there are some things that need to be reviewed with you. It won't take up too much of your time. Probably just 10 minutes. Should it be convenient for you?" When Simon heard this, he was suddenly excited and nodded quickly and said, "Convenient, of course, convenient. That's good." Helena nodded and smiled. "Then please trouble Mr. Steve to wait for a moment. After the review is over, you two can go back to pack your luggage and prepare to return to the United States." Steve nodded respectfully and said, "Everything will be as Her Majesty the Queen orders." Simon on the side was extremely excited at the moment. He was about to get half of the pill, and his lifespan and physical condition would definitely be pulled back. Steve saw the contrast between his father's expression and thought to himself, "The old man has seen and tasted, and he has so much money that he can't spend it all in several lifetimes. The only thing that can make him so excited and lose his composure is probably Charlie's elixir. I think Charlie must have asked Helena to promise the old man the elixir, and I guess Helena will give him the elixir soon." Thinking of this, Steve was very depressed. He didn't know when he could succeed to the throne. If the old man could get other elixirs, he would have to wait a few more years. Steve couldn't help but think of the reminder that Charlie had given him before. The elixir could delay the old man's abdication, but it could also make the old man abdicate early. The key depends on who has the elixir. If Charlie can cut off the supply of elixir to the old man in the future and give the elixir to himself, he can also use the elixir as a bargaining chip to ask the old man to give up the position of the head of the family in advance. After all, as he gets older, the balance between power and life will continue to tilt towards life. Once the balance is broken, it is not impossible to give up the throne. Therefore, Steve couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Whether I can become the patriarch of the Rothschild family in the future depends entirely on Charlie's actions.